Welcome back, and we're following updates on the war between Israel, Hamas, and now Hezbollah. And Hamas is in no hurry to reveal who heads the militant group next, following the killing of Yahya Sinwar on Thursday last week. The group will elect a new leader in March to replace Sinwar. In the meantime, the IDF says it's continuing ground raids in the Jabalia area in northern Gaza, adding that several hundred residents have left using evacuation routes. The Israeli Defense Forces have also carried out airstrikes across Lebanon, targeting branches of Al-Qaeda, Al-Hassan, a U.S.-sanctioned financial association linked to Hezbollah. Israel claims the association directly funds Hezbollah's terror activities, including the purchase of weapons and payments to operatives in Hezbollah's military wing. The Al-Qaeda Al-Hassan Bank has been under U.S. sanctions since 2007, with the U.S. saying it allows Hezbollah to bypass banking systems. According to the UN's envoy to Lebanon, the Israeli military issued 24 warnings of airstrikes in less than an hour, evacuation warnings which caused widespread panic. Meanwhile, on Sunday, at least 87 people died following Israeli strikes on the city of Beit Lahia in northern Gaza. The IDF describes the attack as a precision against a Hamas target and accused Hamas authorities of sharing exaggerated figures. It comes as Lebanese media reports that 14 consecutive raids were recorded in the town of Kiam in the Nabatia area of southern Lebanon. The strikes in the town of Kiam are said to be one of the most intense in days. The Israeli military says its air forces has been targeting dozens of terrorist targets in southern Lebanon. The billowing smoke, evidence of those strikes. Meanwhile, fires broke out in Safed, northern Israel, on Sunday after Hezbollah launched a barrage of rockets from Lebanon. Planes were seen dropping water and responders were extinguishing fires near houses. Israeli media reported that more than 100 rockets were fired from Lebanon to northern Israel on Sunday. According to the Lebanese military, 3 of its soldiers were killed in an Israeli strike on an army vehicle in southern Lebanon. Hezbollah has made no comment on the strikes, but said it fired missiles at Israeli forces in Lebanon and at a base in northern Israel. And the death toll rose as Israeli strikes descended on the town of Beit Lahia in northern Gaza. Casualties were rushed to Kamal Adwan Hospital in Jabalia. Several blasts have been heard over the southern suburbs of Beirut after Israel said it was preparing attacks on sites linked to the financial operations of Lebanon's Hezbollah group. The warnings came after Israel said it hit Hezbollah's intelligence headquarters in the Lebanese capital Beirut, while officials in Gaza said rescuers were still recovering people from the rubble after an Israeli attack on Saturday that killed dozens. The Hezbollah-linked financial institution has more than 30 branches across Lebanon, including 15 across central Beirut and its suburbs. There's been no immediate statement from the organization, Hezbollah, or the Lebanese government. A confident Donald Trump has pledged to achieve lasting peace in the Middle East if he wins the upcoming U.S. presidential election. He was making the comment during an interview with Al Arabiya, a Saudi-owned international Arabic news television channel. Trump talked about the respect he received in the Middle East when he was president. He also said the death of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar would make the prospect of peace easier in Gaza. We'll bring you sound bites of Donald Trump speaking on Middle East peace. In the meantime, I want to bring in international affairs analyst, Right Honorable Ikunyi Owaji. He's at our studio in Abuja. Right Honorable Ibani, thank you for joining us on the program today.
Thank you for having me on your program yet again. My pleasure.
I want to begin with the Republican president's claim about lasting peace that cannot be guaranteed by anyone. Not even President Joe Biden, who is a man of peace, has been able to prevent what we're seeing in the Middle East. So, on what basis can Trump say that he can provide lasting peace?
Can you come again? The last part of your question not very clear to me. Can you take it again?
I was asking on what basis the former U.S. President Donald Trump can claim that he can provide lasting peace to the Middle East when even President Joe Biden himself has not been able to prevent what's going on in the Middle East.
Well, the former President Donald Trump is entitled to his own opinion. If you follow the sequence and progression of events in the Middle East, you know that the current government in the United States, headed by President Biden, is also doing enough to bring lasting peace and lasting solution to the Middle East crisis between the Israelis and the Palestinians. For me, and to my mind, Trump cannot claim, because he is not the president of America today. In American politics and governance, there are so many factors, variable factors, that you consider before you take certain decisions. But first and foremost, if you look at the American Charter and its Constitution, you should know that American interest is key and is the first factor or element that you consider in international relations anywhere, any region in the world. So for Trump, I've just seen maybe part of his campaign promises or campaign statement that a candidate can make during this time, either to also make the electorate to also believe that he can do certain things. But my focus is on the President Biden, who is currently the President of America. You should know that Biden is doing enough. On his way to Germany the other day, he made a statement after the death of Yahya Sinwar, that Sinwar's death is a window, is a leeway to achieving ceasefire and the return of the hostages to Israel. And I believe that for a president, for an American president, on his way to attend the CORD meeting in Germany, in Berlin, to make that statement, it means a lot. And you know, American presidents, they don't just wake up and make statements. Intelligence gathering and other aspects, variables that determine their policy, their foreign policy or domestic policy, is part of what the president will be able to comprehend and assimilate to make statements. And for Biden to make such statement, it means a lot that after the death of Yahya Sinwar, he made that statement, and I think America is working towards that. Right now, as I speak, you know that the Secretary of State is in the Middle East discussing same issue. You know why Sinwar could be referred to as a factor in bringing about lasting peace, especially ceasefire in the ongoing intensive warfare between Israel and Palestinians? Sinwar, if you look at his background, you will know that he was somebody that was born in anger. He grew up an angry man and he fought an angry man. He was an obstacle in all material particular. He was an obstacle to the peace process and to achieving lasting ceasefire between Israel and Palestine. So his death was now seen as a window that is open in the current time for peace to be achieved between Palestine, the people of Palestine, and Israel. So I think that Biden, before his administration winds up, he will be able to achieve some reasonable peace, because the steps that they are taking, America is taking now, is also to ensure, because Biden has also spoken to Benjamin Netanyahu on the need to move forward. I'm quoting him using his language, the phrase that it is time to move forward. Moving forward is moving away from where currently the crisis is, where there seems to be stagnation in terms of negotiation as to the release of hostages and permanent ceasefire. So for Biden, President Biden, to make such comment, I believe that something is in the offing and it will be achieved in no time. But this depends, it depends on the other dynamics, the security of Israel in the midst of all this, the guarantee that those who are fighting, Hamas, and those who are also sponsoring them should be able to believe that Israel should exist side by side other peoples in the Middle East.
We'll return to that, that thought of a two-state solution. But just a reminder here that the U.S. president, the current U.S. president, Joe Biden, is a lame duck president. He has only a few months in office, and he's not been able to dissuade the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as regards his plan, his strategic plan towards the Middle East. Remember that the Prime Minister did say over the weekend that this Yahya Sinwar's death does not will not affect the war in the Middle East, and that's because Hamas has become some sort of ideology. And if we understand anything about ideologies, when the Al Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden was killed, we did see Al Qaeda, break up into different groups today, different militant groups and insurgents and terrorist groups that we have today. So, trying to understand exactly your point here about a lasting peace for the Middle East, and what the U.S. president could possibly do in this regard, when the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's mind is already made up that he will fight Hamas to the finish.
Well, what you should know in international politics or international relations, even in every society, there is no perfect peace. Peace is always relative. You will always find a wavy condition because human actors are the ones playing on every scene. So when the phrase lasting peace is used by leaders in relation to Israel-Hamas war, you know that it's a target, it's an objective set by the leaders to achieve. But other variables, like I've mentioned, there are so many elements involved in achieving such peace. One of those is, like you have highlighted, that Netanyahu has said that he will fight on. You should also consider what is the basis, what is the foundation that the Prime Minister of Israel, the cabinet, the IDF, what are they defending? They are defending their security, they are defending their people, their national interests. So any advice coming from outside, first they will place it on a canvas and look at it, how it will be achieved vis-a-vis their own interests, their own security. Because the most important element that Israel will always consider, I've said it time and time on this program when I have appeared on your program earlier on, that anything that compromises, any agreement that compromises the security of the state of Israel, that it might be difficult. My analysis not perfect, but I am looking at it from historical point of view, given what they see as what they have suffered before now. They must put their security first in agreeing to any form of negotiation. That's why Netanyahu said, even when American president said, yes, with the death of Sinwar, a window has been opened for peace to be achieved. First, they will consider that their security. And you can see, he said that they will fight on. If you place that against the canvas of the two objectives set by Netanyahu ab initio when this war started, first, you know that they said Hamas will be destroyed. Then secondly, the other aspect, two basic objectives, are they set out to achieve? If Hamas has not been destroyed, of course, you know that Netanyahu cannot tell you that the war will end. That's the meaning and the reason why he said that they will still fight on.
Yes. I also want to bring in the aspect of Iran. Now, Israel has been planning an attack against Iran in response to that October 1st attack that the Iranians carried out against the nation of Israel. But we're hearing that that plan may have leaked to the Iranians. I mean, a U.S. institution did reveal that the plan had been leaked, and the U.S. government is planning to respond to that. I wanted you to speak to, what Israel could be doing now, because there had already been a strategy in place, an operation ongoing to execute that plan. We understand that there were movements of weapons and artillery and so on towards a particular area in order to carry out a strike on Iran, as the Israeli Prime Minister says, one that it has never experienced before.
Well, you know that in warfare, there are different types of warfare. You have offensive warfare, you have defensive warfare. Strategy matters. There are differences in strategy that you adopt depending on the style of warfare you engage in. For Israel, one thing you will take home is that, their national identity, their national interest, their pride called to question with the October 1st attack by Iran. And, they have a lot of intelligence. They also work in that manner. If it is not right, or the time is not right for them now to respond, we'll be buying time. Why I said they can be buying time, I'll paint a scenario, a picture that will make you to appreciate why I say so. You know that the tentacles that have spread over the years and allegedly spread by Iran, they are the ones Israel currently is dealing with. One is Hezbollah. The other one is the Houthi rebels in Yemen. The next one, are talking of the other militants or militia in Syria. Then you are talking of Hamas. So Israel, if you look at the way Israel is spreading the war and the attack Israel is carrying out, you know that they are buying time. And when the tentacles are actually overpowered and they overcome them, you should expect, and I know, given prediction and the nature and character of their response to aggression, you know that Israel is buying time now. You can see the intensity of the intensity of bombardment in southern Lebanon. Even beyond southern Lebanon, the intensity of bombardment attack in northern Lebanon, even in center of Beirut. These were areas initially that were not involved because Hezbollah was believed before now to be centered around southern Lebanon. But now you can see the intensity. As of today, as I speak, I know that beyond attacking the military or military infrastructure of Hezbollah, it has gone beyond that now. The banks that are alleged to be connected in terms of terrorism financing, according to the Israelis, they are also attacking them. So you can see the graduation of the response of Israel and why they are buying time. Even as they are attacking Hezbollah in Lebanon, they have not stopped the warfare in Gaza.
Right, Honorable.
And they are not also sleeping that at any point they can also attack the Houthi rebels in Yemen that has identified Israel as part of their problem that they will continue to. So
they have received some
by my prediction that they are buying their time.
Yeah, they have received some Israeli attacks over time. I mean, the Houthi rebels. But we'll have to leave it here. Right Honorable Ibani, thank you so much for speaking with us. Never enough time there seems to have these conversations, but we'll surely have you back again on the program, of course, to complete the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. My pleasure.